My name is Shauna Alfano, and I work here at Bath Surgery Center in Walnut Creek, California, and I am the administrator and director of nursing for the center. So our facility is going on 7 years old. We are a multi-specialty center. We are physician-owned, and we run 4 operating rooms. We do every specialty here with the exception of eyes. I would say as far as anything that we specialize in, it's pretty even across the board, although we do a lot of orthopedics here. So since its inception, we have been using the HST practice management side of things for our scheduling component. In 2021, we added in eChart, and actually to go backwards, about a year prior to that, we added in the financial component for the revenue cycle management piece as well. One big difference is AR management. When you have paper charts that you're literally relying on reports and signatures, things like op notes or, anesthesia to finish a piece of paper that maybe they accidentally took home with them and they were supposed to leave with us because it was their billing for the day. When you're waiting on all of those manual processes, you can't necessarily get everything turned around in an efficient amount of time. So with that said, that was really difficult because our AR was, the percentage was very high. When we streamlined everything, and really when we brought the eChart component in back in 2021 and got through the painstaking process of launching anything new, because all staff are going to be reluctant to that. Once we got past that road bump, everything is just so much easier in that it's all in one place. You can't necessarily advance onto the next stage until one stage is completed. And those stops are so critical because now it's just like, back of the hand. The physicians know I have to finish this step so I can move to the next step. I need to room in, room out, then I'm not going to be able to get to my next patient. So with all those checks and balances in place, now everything's done that we need to be done at the end of the day. So we're getting those claims out within 24 hours. So your AR goes down, remarkably. Challenge has been solved. Well, we know the team really well by this point, just because, when you roll something out new, as we all know, there's going to be anticipation and, some excitement and some non-excitement. And so we expect that things are going to be funny and go wrong. And they did, right? And what I can say is everyone on the team, it became known that, hey, you guys are West Coast, you're early. You're one of the first ones hopping on in the morning because we start so early. If you have a problem, text us. So we have an email thread that we use. We have a text thread that we use. And I will say that anytime we've had a major issue, or to me, what I would consider a major issue, they're on top of it. And so I think, talking with them as a group when something goes wrong and explaining what we're seeing, what we experience, sharing the errors we might get from time to time, those things, they do happen, but they are quick to jump on it, resolve the issues, and work with us to make sure that we can avoid it again. I would recommend it, and I think because, again, even when things go wrong, they've been very transparent, and they have been very willing to bend over backwards to help us to fix things, and that's truthful. I don't love when things go wrong, but I will say that, in hindsight, when I think about other big systems like Epic at the hospital, we had Epic outages on a regular basis, and it was mass pandemonium. I mean, it was not organized chaos like it is here. At least, here we have a system. Okay, let's get paper charts going. We know what we need to do. It's not fun. It's super frustrating. But the way that it's handled has been paramount to us wanting to stay with HST and potentially grow with HST in the future because of the way that they handle things. I think that customer service is what makes them surpass other companies. Our audits and compliance rate is so much higher today. We have an admin person. We actually have a few admin people that work as a team to go in and electronically audit and close charts, and we can run, chart completion reports, which we didn't have that capability before. We're digging through piles of files on the floor. So that gives me peace of mind for the center. 100% more than I had before, just knowing that I can explain exactly why things are still open, what's been closed. We can go in and make sure we have some control over who is signing things. We can address surgeons that are, I don't want to say problematic, but maybe need a little extra education in terms of why, they need to do things a certain way. I think those things, and there's a a component within the recovery area of eChart, the transfer pack or block, excuse me. I know this sounds like a really small thing, but for us, when God forbid you do have a transfer that needs to go to the hospital and you have to stop, bring a whole nother body in to fill out a paper packet, take that extra 20 minutes just to prep, when by that time AMR is usually already in the building. Now that we can add in a transfer block and we can have that done in like 3 minutes or less, that's huge, because what we want to do is focus on the patient, not a paper process. So for me, that was, a huge goal. So I'm super happy about it. If you start with just the pre-op flow in the morning, we're a busy center, so we're starting off a lot of patients at one time. One thing that comes to mind is when you're going through 6 or 7 physical pieces of paper that you have to check every single box, and it's flip the page and then it's don't forget to sign here, all of those things that take time. The time it takes us now to prep a patient, go through the questions that we have to get through, our electronic signature is following us every time we're acknowledging something. I would say that it probably cut that prep time in terms of being in the actual chart by 50%, which is huge. Another benefit in that was the time that it takes us. Let's say if we have to bring in a registry nurse because someone calls in sick, for example, and we have that registry nurse over in recovery, the time that it used to take us to show them in a physical chart what they needed to cover, was really just very hard, because basically we didn't have that body the entire time we were training them on the floor. So it's kind of double work for the staff nurses who were here, because they were trying to train while they're working with the patients. And really they just had to have that registry nurse follow them through the flow so that they could just see it enough times they would know. This process within recovery is so chronological, if you will, in order of what we would be doing from the time we're checking them into recovery. It's very user friendly, and they can literally complete each task as they go down, and you can look at it and know what's next, because it's basically almost prompting you, if you will, because okay, yeah, this is the next step, I need to do this. So the training time probably 50% reduced. And as well as when anesthesia comes in and we're adding new members to the team, it helps them a lot, because it's a lot less involved and complicated in the process that they need to follow. And then, they also have a billing piece that they take care of for themselves at the end, where they would have to come out of recovery and then they had to pull papers out of the chart and copy however many papers, because they had to make a copy to send to anesthesia. Now we have the anesthesia billing set within the product, and our billing team has access to that, and we don't have to do all of that anymore. So those are all huge time savings for us.